Okay, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great Monday morning. It is December 15th and it's about 10 degrees outside. So a little bit chilly, a lot cold, I guess you'd say, and certainly need to make sure that you bundle up, watch out for hypothermia. And if you have to be outside, if you don't have to be outside, stay inside and stay out of the elements. So certainly that's you know, something that we all have to listen to, but I know it's easy to like run out of the house without your gloves, without your scarf, without your hat. Also, during these times, make sure that you have an emergency tote in your car. You never know when your car will break down or if something will happen. Make sure you have hand warmers in there. Make sure you have a blanket in there, some water, some snacks, and flares and all sorts of roadside assistance things as well. So it's really important for you guys to be safe and secure. Also, hope you're being careful because COVID, norovirus, a lot of sicknesses are going around this time around. So make sure you're washing your hands and being very careful about where you're at. And if you're sick, stay home. Do not spread germs elsewhere. So certainly that's something that we can all relate to. We don't want to be sick during this time of year. So with that, we are just going to COVID, norovirus, a lot of sicknesses are going hold on, my years. Sorry, my computer got a little bit of feedback there, so I'm trying. I have dual computers going, and my other computer is was going off. Uh, so goodness, it is quite the Monday that we are faced with today. We wake up this morning to just such troubling news from around the world to here in the United States. Overseas, we had two U.S. soldiers and a civilian interpreter killed in an attack in Syria by an Islamic State gunman, and certainly they gave the ultimate sacrifice. We need to keep them and their families in our prayers. And then over in Australia, a in Sydney's iconic Bondi Beach on Sunday was an evening for Hanukkah by the sea, a public Jewish Hanukkah celebration. And authorities say that at least 11 people were killed and more than 2 dozen injured after two gunmen opened fire during the event. The police there have officially declared the incident as a terrorist attack, describing it as a targeted act of anti-Semitic violence. And then at home, here, Brown University released a statement early Sunday that two people were killed and nine others were injured in a shooting. They were all students of Brown University. And then this morning, we learned of the tragic loss of life of Bob Reiner and his wife Michelle. They were found dead Sunday in their Los Angeles home. Police is calling it an apparent homicide. Bob Reiner was 78 and his wife was 68. So certainly we have a lot to keep in our hearts and in our thoughts and violence throughout the world and here at home. Um, should not be tolerated, and we need to do all we can to try to make sure that we stem the violence and start coming together. It's been very tragic and very sad this weekend, to be quite honest. And but So keep them all in your thoughts, your prayers, and their families and friends that are going into this holiday season without them. So it's very tough. Now, um, as we go on today, what is today? Today is December 15th. And believe it or not, I haven't quite been to get my coffee mug filled yet. So I have no coffee mug for you today. I apologize for that. I'll be getting it after this Zoom. I've had quite a busy morning. So I just got up, came into the home office, and have not had a chance to make my coffee yet. It does sometimes happen with my busy schedule. But talking about today. Today as I said, December 15th is the Bill of Rights Day. So the Bill of Rights Day, this was created by presidential proclamation. So it states, The proclamation states, now therefore I, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, President of the United States of America, do hereby designate December 15th, 1941 as Bill of Rights Day, and I call upon the officials of the government and upon the people of the state of the United States to observe the day by displaying the flag of the United States on public buildings and by meetings together for such prayers and such ceremonies as may seem appropriate. The first 10 amendments of the United States Constitution makes up the Bill of Rights, passed by Congress in September 25th, 1789. The rights place limits on government power. So the bill was actually introduced by James Madison, and he later became the fourth president of the United States. Congress passed 12 of Madison's proposed amendments. The states only ratified 10 of them. One of the two rejected by the states concerned the number of constituents for each representative. The other limited when and how members of Congress are compensated. Neither was ratified at the time. The later of the two rejected amendments was ratified 203 years later. The 27th Amendment restricted compensation for members of Congress. The Bill of Rights is displayed in the rotunda of the National Archives building in Washington, D.C. There were 14 copies made, one for each of the 13 states to sign, and one for the Federal Archives. However, only 12 copies, original copies, survive today. So certainly it is National Bill of Rights Day. And then a completely different flip side is National Cupcake Day. Believe it or not. When it comes to celebrating National Cupcake Day, you are only limited by your imagination. For bakers out there, it's time to make a batch of your favorite cupcakes. Step it up and maybe bake something new, but it is also National Cupcake Day. On Friday, December 19th, is National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day, believe it or not. In 2011, National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day has grown to be an international event now occurring on the third Friday of December. The celebration gives holiday lovers worldwide a chance to wear their ugly Christmas sweater. So, good morning, Bonnie and Gay. Good morning, folks, for joining us today. And wear your ugly Christmas sweater with pride. Some announcements. First of all, the Bears are in first place again. They will play Green Bay Packers Saturday night here in Soldier Field in Chicago. So it's certainly going to be a game to watch. And then we have championships here in Aurora. So congratulations to Aurora resident and Oswego East High School student Addison Miller, who won the Athletics with Disabilities 100-yard breaststroke state championship. So Miller captured the title on Saturday, on Saturday at the Illinois High School Association's Girls Swimming and Diving State Final. She also finished in second place in the 200-yard freestyle, 50-yard freestyle, and the 100-yard freestyle. So in both 2023 and 2024, Addison finished second in the Athletes with Disabilities 100-yard breaststroke, preceding her 2025 championship. She also broke a Move United national swimming record at a 2024 Hartford Nationals for a 200-yard individual medley as part of the female 17 and under SM8 division. So she has competed as part of the Oswego East High School and Oswego High School Co-op swimming and diving team at Community School District 308. So congratulations to her. And also, I'd always wanted my son to pick up swimming, but he just never found the motivation to do that, and she is doing an amazing job. So congratulations to her. And then finally, I say this every time, but Museums in the Park program continues to be available to all District 84 residents. So 4 free tickets. Brookfield Zoo Holiday Zoo Lights, which opened already and runs until January 4th, is a fun activity for the whole family, or go inside and visit all the museums that are around. So what is happening today? So first and foremost, I filed a resolution, House Resolution 0575, which condemns threats of political violence and defends our constitutional duty of service members to refuse unlawful orders. So, Bill of Rights Day, we're talking about our Bill of Rights and our Constitution. And I served in the United States Marine Corps, and we take an oath to support and defend the Constitution. And what we are always taught and always trained is that you cannot follow unlawful orders. So, certainly, there has been some talk about this in the press. The President of the United States has been making statements that have been interpreted as threats of political violence or retaliation against other elected officials who have publicly affirmed the legal obligation of U.S. service members to refuse unlawful orders. So, it has been proven time and time again that somebody that did something unlawfully used a defense that said, I was ordered to do it. It does not stand up. It is not the right thing to do. So it definitely needs to be reiterated and needs to be talked about. So the Constitution, not an individual office holder, established limits of power in the United States. It emphasizes that um, overall, folks need to be able to not only perform their duties free from coercion, intimidation, or threats or retaliation, but also rhetoric suggesting punishment or violence against individuals for upholding the law poses really a danger to not only our constitutional governance, but really our whole structure overall. So individuals in the military have been a little bit conflicted and a little bit concerned, really, about this caveat. And we certainly need to make sure that we maintain our core elements of military law. So, House Resolution 0575 cites core elements of military law, including Articles 90, 91, and 92 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which require obedience only to lawful orders. It references long-standing U.S. military doctrine, the Nuremberg Principles, and the rulings of American military tribunals, affirming that just following orders is never a defense for illegal actions. So certainly that is filed and hope to be considered when we go to Springfield next session, which the session is again in that towards the end of January. Now, Illinois is an agriculture state, and so it's just announced that the Trump administration will make $12 billion available for farmers who have suffered loss due to ongoing trade tariffs and disruptions with other nations. So the Illinois Department of Agriculture, our director, Jerry Costello II, says it doesn't even come close to covering the losses farmers have suffered in the form of lost markets, lower commodity prices, and higher import prices. So, really, the national government and the Trump administration's trade policies, they run deep throughout the ag economy, and they certainly will have lasting impacts to make it difficult or impossible for individuals and farmers to make a living in the future. So, when you talk about $12 billion, it's not even a drop in the bucket. And these tariffs are really crushing farmers. Certainly, all these tariffs and all this trade war is not helping. It's not helping at all. And a farmer bridge assistance program is not what farmers want. They don't want a government bailout. What they want is to be able to participate in farming, grow and sell their corn and soybeans. And those are the two biggest crops in Illinois. However, we also have barley, cotton, oats, peanuts, sorghum, wheat, and several other crops. Again, this isn't going to help. According to the USDA, 11 billion was earmarked for farmers who produce those crops. 1 billion is being reserved for other crops, including sugar, specialty crops, although those details are yet to be disclosed. Now, eligible farmers should make their 2025 acreage is reported to FSA by 5 p.m. on Friday, December 19th. Eligible farmers can expect payments to be released by February 28th. So what they're going to do from now to then, I don't really know, but certainly this is a limited size of the program. Not enough's going to cover the farmers' losses. It's a much smaller relief package than was proposed last time. And this time it's a much larger problem with the Trump tariffs that are going into effect. So in 2017, the Trump administration imposed tariffs on various goods coming in the United States from China, which prompted China to impose retaliatory tariffs again on the number of U.S. exports, including soybeans and other products. And so China is our biggest export market for soybeans in Illinois. With the 2017 tariffs that were in place in 2018, 2019, there was a loss of over $27 billion in agriculture space. So that is about 72% of that literally was specific to soybeans. 95% of literally was specific to China. So at the point in time, the first Trump administration had a farmer aid package that was $23.1 billion. So we've seen this before. Um, Nearly a third of the agricultural losses at the time in 2017 were concentrated in Iowa, Illinois, and Kansas. So this time around, the global trade disputes extend beyond China. And in the ag sector, they involve many more crops than corn and soybeans. But the aid package is half the size of the one of the first Trump administration. It makes absolutely, first of all, the tariffs make absolutely no sense, and this paltry amount of money for our farmers make no sense. So, just for comparison, during the first Trump administration in 2017, Illinois sales of soybeans to China fell from $1.3 billion in 2017 to $116 million in 2018, 90% drop. By 2020, that had dropped to 29 million. Major, major losses. One result is that farmers had ended up storing their products in silos, either because the market prices were too low or there wasn't enough buyers. So you've got all your storage that's consumed, or most of the storage being consumed, and a lot of farmers were forced to sell into a market that's depressed if they have nowhere to go with it. So they're forced to take losses. Um, so just this past year, because of the tariffs now, so tariffs are being imposed on products coming into the United States from overseas all over the place. So just this past year, we're talking about today's, because of the tariffs, nitrogen tariffs are up 10%. Herbicide, pesticide, insecticide are up 20%. Ag equipment is up 13%. Tractors are up 16%. There's huge implications because of the tariffs, and there is not a lot of relief that is out there. And all those factors affect the bottom line as well. Again, so there is a long-term drag on the farm economy. It's going to make it difficult or impossible for individuals and families to earn a livelihood by farming. And right now we have more people farming than that are over 75 than under 35. 58.6 is the average age of a farmer in the state of Illinois right now. So getting new people into agriculture, retaining the folks that have been doing farming for such a long time through the tough times, and the new folks are a little bit more vulnerable, and they're the ones that might not be able to sustain this type of downturn in our agricultural economy with the state. So that's where we're at right now with regards to the state of Illinois and the really the struggles of our agricultural economy that we have. Then there is a couple of new laws coming in January 1, coming in January 1st. AI, artificial intelligence is now regulating how employers use artificial intelligence to evaluate employees when hiring, evaluating, disciplining, or terminating them. Critics say that the use of AI can inadvertently discriminate based on race, gender, age, or disability. In other words, they're much more comfortable when non-AI humans look at the situation as a whole. Um, so certainly that is something that is really up. Is really something that we need to look at because AI is here, it's here to stay, but AI is not always perfect. And so certainly that is another piece of legislation that's coming online um, January 1. Um, Other things, certainly there are other things that we can look at with regards to AI. And it is helpful, but we need to make sure that we use it properly and that we use it responsibly and not just let it do all that it's going to do. So certainly that's quite the situation with AI. Now, one of the things that is we can talk about in Illinois is Danville. We've talked about this before. So Danville celebrated Dick Van Dyke's 100th birthday this week. So there was a little bit of a spark in the air, the kind of magic that only one man that leaves behind, and that is Danville's favorite son. So the city has just under 29,000 residents, and Danville isn't really in the spotlight, but Danville's favorite son, Dick Van Dyke, turns 100 years old, and that was on December 13th. So, inside the Danville High School, theater students were honoring Van Dyke. They rehearsed dance numbers across the same stage where a young Dick Van Dyke once performed back in the 1940s. Long before he tap danced across London rooftops in Mary Poppins and soared the countryside in Chee Chee Bang Bang, Van Dyke was a teenager discovering his love for performing right here in Danville. So not much has changed since then. Obviously, the stage is the same, so they're on the same stage that he was on, and it gives, I think, people a little bit of hope that somebody from Danville um, can turn out to be one of Hollywood's most beloved individuals. So he has a fun character, and it doesn't seem like Dick Van Dyke lets big Hollywood stages diminish anything about him. So certainly that is our little connection with Hollywood. There are a few others, but Danville is celebrating Dick Van Dyke's birthday. So happy 100th birthday. In other news statewide, Treasurer Frericks encourages the gift of education this holiday season. College Savings Phone app offers an easy way to give to a loved one's Bright Start 529 account. So this is to start saving for children's educations, and you can set them up, and if they get gifts from parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, or other relatives, they can always contribute to a young person's Bright Start account and reduce the amount of money a family might have to borrow later to pay for college. Simply you can go and download the Ready Save 529 app from the Apple Store or Google Play, or you can contribute online to brightstart.com and you can give that way to set up an account. And then the state announces 2025 Human Rights Award recipients. So it commemorates International Human Rights Day or Everyday Essentials. And so the Deputy Governor of Health and Human Services, Grace Hugh, and Director of Illinois Departments of Human Rights, Jim Bennett, presented the annual Human Rights Award to Youth Outlook and Mano a Mano Family Resource Center in recognition of the International Human Rights Day. This was a ceremony that was on December 10th. So they work to embody the fundamental principle of human rights, are everyday essentials for all Illinoisans. So congratulations to them on that. And I just saw, good morning, Roger. Thanks for joining us today on this cold day. Normally, I'm just going to take an aside. One of my favorite memories is we used to do this in person at a coffee shop. We used to do coffee shops throughout the district. And then in COVID, we went to this online format. But I remember one day it was extremely cold. I want to say it was like 20 below with the wind chill. It was very cold. And it was a Monday. And I called the restaurant to see if they were open. And they were indeed open. And so I drove to the restaurant just in case somebody would show up. I didn't want them to be, you know, alone and not have anybody there. And lo and behold, resident John, John and Jerry. It was the John of John and Jerry. I think they both left us now, but John showed up, and it was John and I, and we got to have coffee together on our by ourselves, and it was really fun. So certainly it is very rewarding to have coffee in person, but it is certainly safer to have it across a Zoom platform when the weather is bad as well. But there are good memories to be had around. So one of the things that was announced by the Illinois Department of Public Health was that public libraries throughout Illinois will stock administer opiate overdose reversal agents. So, public libraries is a list of locations that are permitted to keep a supply of opiate overdose reversal agents on hand. So this will take effect January 1, another thing that takes effect on January 1. So this builds on the order that we had in January 2024, which allowed schools to maintain a supply of reversal agents to help counteract the effects of an opiate overdose. Unfortunately, opiate overdoses are becoming a public health issue, and we certainly need to have medications like naloxone to save lives, and it's only available if we have it there. So certainly, if something is happening, of course, call 911. But if somebody is having an overdose, both nalmefene and naloxone are safe and effective in counteracting an overdose. They can be administered safely to persons showing signs of an overdose, even if that person is not actually overdosed on opiates. So if there's, exhibiting signs as well. So, and then Illinois winter disconnection rule is in effect through March. So the Illinois Commerce Commission is reminding customers that the state's winter weather rule is in effect from December 1 to March 31st. The winter weather rule limits utilities from discontinuing eligible customers who use electric or gas as their primary source of home heating. With the frigid temperatures and the frequent snowfall, the winter weather rule protects customers who might be struggling to stay warm during the coldest months of the year. So, certainly, that is something. Ameren, Nicor, North Shore, Peoples Gas, natural gas companies, ComEd, the like, they are unable to disconnect you for not paying. Now, certainly pay your bill, but they cannot disconnect that during the winter months. So, and then pay transparency efforts strengthen equity in Illinois. So the University of Illinois released a report. I talk about reports a lot. A comprehensive new report released today by the University of Illinois Project for Middle Class Renewal finds that while Illinois has made meaningful progress toward gender pay equity since implementing pay data reporting requirements under the 2021 amendment to the Equity Pay Act of 2003, significant occupational disparities in pay persist, particularly in Black and Hispanic workers in low-wage sectors. So some of the key findings of this report, we get a lot of reports. Women earned about 91 to 93 cents for every dollar earned by a man in comparable roles. The smallest gaps appear in professional and managerial positions. Black and Hispanic workers earn approximately 90 to 94 cents on every dollar earned by white workers. Gender gaps have narrowed modestly in mid and wage occupations, but have widened for women in lower wage roles, and wage gaps remain. However, Illinois is making meaningful progress. Now, of course, this is not taking into account jobs that are in a union. Unions are equal pay for equal work. So certainly these are non-union jobs. And then fire safety. Of course, we've talked about this before. We'll continue to talk about it. In 2024, 12 people in Illinois lost their lives in fire-related incidents during the holiday season. So, of course, we want everybody to be safe from fire. Candle fires peak in December, followed closely by January. More than half of home decoration fires in December were started by candles. The top 3 days for home candle fires are Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and New Year's Eve. So before you head to bed or out for the evening, please extinguish all your candles. And then locally, Kane County has a Name That Plow contest. So Kane County is inviting residents to help give its snow plow fleet some personality this winter. They launched it on the county's website, Name That Plow contest. Or you can submit it to Kane County Connects at kanecountyil.gov by December 15th. Kendall County Made in Kendall Award. Nominations are open for the 2026 Made in Kendall Award. This award aims to share the spotlight on exceptional local manufacturers and makers. There are three different categories: industrial product, consumer product, and community maker. Winners in the Made in Kendall designation will be announced during a county board meeting in January and receive formal recognition, a plaque, and a commendation from the board. And then Kendall County Transit Adopt a Rider program. They are running their first ever Adopt a Rider fundraising program. The initiative will help cover rides for those who are unable to pay the full fare price, hindering their ability to get to where they need to go, such as medical appointments and groceries. So donations are accepted through December 31st. And contribution, they can be made via Venmo, by mail, or in person at the Kendall County Courthouse. Forms are available online. So certainly call Jennifer at Kendall County. And then Deck the Hall contest. Aurora residents are invited to snap a photo of their festively decorated homes and submit it using the form on the page of the Aurora website. All submitted photos will be showcased on the city's website and social media channels starting December 22nd for the whole community to celebrate. Top 3 winners will be recognized for their outstanding holiday decorations and creativity. So go to aurora.il.us and submit your picture. And then the African American Heritage Board uh, is looking for new members to preserve, celebrate, and promote the rich history and ongoing contributions of African American members in the community. So the board has 3 vacancies, and an application process is still ongoing. So while you're uploading your Christmas pictures, you can go over and apply for the board. They're both at the City of Aurora websites. And then finally, we've talked about it before, but we're going to talk about it again. Oswego Police Department put out a notice about buying or selling the perfect holiday gift on Facebook Marketplace, Nextdoor, OfferUp, or other online platforms. Make sure it is safe. So, and this is, if something is too good to be true, it probably is a scam. I've seen this now a couple of times on Facebook of individuals saying, I had to move my elderly aunt, my elderly uncle, my grandfather into assisted living, and we're selling this really great car for like $3,000. Scam. Their Facebook page got scammed. So it's a scam. Never buy anything sight unseen. Steer clear of checks or money orders. They can be fake. Do not share your personal information, especially bank account or credit card information, and don't meet strangers at your home or unfamiliar areas. There is a parking lot in front of any police department that you can make exchanges on. So if you're in Oswego or anywhere else, you can make exchanges in the parking lot of the police departments. So with that, just a quick update. Thank you everybody for joining us. I don't see any questions in the chat. Hope everybody has a great week. If you're not ready for Christmas, maybe by the end of this week you will. I have things to do in regards to the holidays as well. So with that, have a great day. Have a wonderful week and stay warm. And looking forward to like 40-degree weather towards the end of this week. And go Bears. Take care.